No fancy title card here. Welcome all. Today I'll be starting my look at Mega Man 3, seeing as, 5 and 4 went over fine. I've always had a personal liking for 3, and I'd like to get into that, because a lot of people think that 3 loses a lot of its merits from being rushed, and there's a segment in this game later on that definitely ruins some of it, but the game just has way too much memorable set pieces, so many good elements that I feel like kind of get overlooked in the grand scheme of things. This has always been like my go-to whenever I'm feeling like picking up a game to play for like a short amount of time or just to casually blow through. It might be because I've played this so many times that I've come to like it, but I've always just found the flow in this game to be much better than even 4, which I consider to have better level design on the whole, but as far as my opinions go, 3 is where my heart is. So to get right into it, same structure as always, 8 guys, go kill them. There's nothing really wrong with the stage select screen aside from this disgusting looking glitch. This is just the first of some unfinished elements, and that stuff will become more apparent as I go through. I'll be sure to discuss that at length. But, I like to start at Shadow Man just because I can. Perks of being, good at the game, I guess. Not to brag, but I always found this a convenient starting point for a few different reasons. So, music. Really good. Graphics, kind of questionable. This looks like lava, but I think this is supposed to be a sewer. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reference, I think. Ninjas in sewers. Makes sense to me. They could have made this a bit more brown, although maybe it would have looked kind of disgusting. I'm not sure. So, this screen, there's just kind of an enemy lying here, and this position is kind of stupid. Then an empty screen. But, the challenge starts from here. These jumping things will get you if you don't know they're there, but since I've played this so many times, obviously I know what's coming. I'll probably be saying this a lot, but this game gets a lot more fun when you know exactly what you're dealing with. These I wouldn't normally backtrack, but Pickleman Bull, this guy just rides forward. There's a strange glitch. I got to show it off in a recording that I had to scrap, but sometimes you'll shoot these guys dead on in the head where you should shoot them, and the shots will just deflect off. It's a pretty bizarre glitch. And actually, I'm just now noticing these bubbles above me are animating pretty smoothly. But anyways. So this game introduced Proto Man, and he'll show up to fight you in a few levels. What's weird about this is, and you'll get to see this later on, is that he shows up with the costume where he calls himself Breakman, but in the normal stages, before that happens, he's normal. He looks like normal Proto Man. So there's an unused animation in the game, actually, of Breakman turning into Proto Man and vice versa, which I assume was never used because of time constraints. Which is a real shame because it doesn't really make sense why he wouldn't be disguised here, but then later on he is. Just another victim of this game being insanely rushed. Basically everybody knows it now. It's extremely common knowledge in the Mega Man community that this game was rushed to hell. And he has no iframe, so you can just turbo fire. I always found that really fun. It makes a fun sound effect. But this game was rushed to hell, and it shows in a lot of places. His AI was really lackluster too. Not sure if I mentioned, he just jumps around and shoots. So that's pretty disappointing. There are a lot of things in this game that this game potentially could have been better than 4 if they had just put in a little bit more energy into some places. I don't want to spoil too much, but the segment with the dock robots, which if you're not sure what that is, you'll see later, is a huge blemish on this game. I sometimes think that this game would quite literally be better if they had just omitted them altogether, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Shadow Man stage. Kind of lacking in gimmicks. There was that hologram enemy that I just showed in that previous hallway, which obscures the screen, and it's pretty cool. And there are those bomb enemies which hurt you if you shoot them and they're too close to you. So that's all well and good. you know, not particularly thematic, like, nothing about this screams shadow or ninjas to me, but there's nothing wrong with it, and it flows really well. The flow in that room is great. And here, it's just really satisfying to, shoot and move. Like I was saying earlier, flow in this game really good. Something that it nails. This segment is kind of stupid. You have to know, like I've said a million times, you have to know how these things spawn. What you want to do is jump and then retreat so that they come down and then you can just shoot them from afar. Otherwise, you run the risk of being knocked off these platforms. And speaking of being knocked off the platform, you're about to see F-tier enemy placement here. Yeah, this guy will just knock you into a pit if you don't move fast enough. That's pretty stupid. So again, a lot of the flaws in Mega Man 3 come from the developers just not spending enough time. The graphics are good though. I really like the way the water animates, or lava, or whatever the hell this is. This tile cuts off a bit weirdly here. Of course, now that we're at the boss, I have to discuss Shadow Man himself, which, for anyone that's even remotely acquainted with this game, yeah, Shadow Man's AI, very poor. He'll do 2 attacks, which are selected at complete random, except where Mega Man bosses would normally have a telegraph, he doesn't tell you anything. So, no matter what you do, if he picks the attack you weren't anticipating, you'll get nailed, most likely. I'll show off what I mean, but you have to take advantage of having mostly full health here if you want to stand a chance. Look at how short of a time he gives before throwing the stars. It doesn't help that when he slides, he does it at 200 miles per hour. Yeah, it looks like he's deciding to throw stars a bit too often. Seems like he really likes throwing stars this time. Wow. Alright, that was close. So yeah, he also slides just slightly too fast if you ask me. They definitely should have added maybe a delay to the slide, because he just does it instantly. As soon as he touches the ground, if he decides to slide, boom, he's off. So, abysmal boss fight. But the weapon is great. As you would think from Blade weapon in Mega Man 2, Metal Blade being the best weapon in the game, Shadow Blade is also this game's best weapon. Except it's nerfed from the Metal Blade. It only fires in 5 directions, and it boomerangs back to you. So, they found a nice way to balance it. This glitch is strange. I'm just noticing how it messes up the 4 dots that are flashing. Like, that looks weird. That's a shame. And then Rush Marine. This game introduced Rush, but Rush Marine doesn't see that much use. There's only 2 or 3 stages I can think of with water. Gemini Man stage being one of them. And also Wily 1. You visit Gemini Man stage twice in this game, so I guess you need that second time as well. Speaking of Gemini Man, let's go there. I pretty much always play this game in this order. Get the best weapon first, and then get the weapons I like afterwards. I'll have more to say about Gemini Laser later, I suppose, but I've always had an affinity for it, even though some people say it's not that good of a weapon. Shadow Blade, though, can't deny its usefulness. Fires really fast. I've always found it a bit weird how it fires faster diagonally than straight, but anyways. So this segment in Gemini Man stage, just a long stretch of precision shooting and jumping. I've always liked this section. You have to make your shots count to avoid being hit. Of course, I'm not doing the best job at that because I'm talking so much, but this segment's also pretty fun with the Shadow Blade, because you can nail these nitrons as soon as they get in your line of fire like that. That's really satisfying. There's an interesting thing about these stars you see in the background. They're gray on the screen right now because I'm playing on emulator, but on CRT televisions, which were the norm when the original version of this game released, they would actually flash red, green, and blue just because that's how CRTs were, and I never knew that until recently. It's a pretty cool tidbit. But anyways, this segment, pretty good. Can get a bit repetitive after a while, but I don't think it overstays its welcome. It's really well constructed. I was trying to slide. You can actually skip this barrier. It's not solid, despite what it would have you think. And thankfully, I'm playing a legitimate copy of this game, so I don't get the piracy Proto Man message. This item grab here, kind of stupid. You just have to know it's there, or use Rush Coil. It's not like it becomes impossible to get. You can just place Coil here, right where I'm standing. But there's no challenge, it's just kind of empty. This segment will allow me to show off something a bit glitchy with the pause menu, though. Let's get some weapon energy. So you'll notice here that I'm selecting something invisible. There's nothing flashing on screen, but this is actually Rush Jet, which you can get early if you have Shadow Man's weapon. Even though it's not highlighted, you can still use it, and strangely enough, it's completely empty. But if you get weapon energy for it and ride it around, it'll appear, and it'll act as if you already obtained it. So this is a really useful trick if you want Rush Jet early and like taking on Shadow Man first like I do. Or even earlier in the game, the Needle Man, whose weapon is pretty mediocre. So up there's a mystery tank thing, which I'll show off. And something about Rush Jet that some people know, pretty common knowledge. If you jump over and over again, oh, I got an E-tank, but it's gonna disappear. Ah, well, that sucks. Those mystery tanks basically just give you a random item, E-tank being the best case scenario. That's a shame. But I don't really need it. I'm gonna fill up Rush Jet. I haven't discussed the music yet. I keep trying to remember what I discussed in my scrapped outtake of this. But the music in this stage is godly to my ears. It's one of the things that got me into Mega Man in the first place. I happened to play Mega Man 3 Game Boy just on a whim one day on one of those emulator sites that existed in like, the mid-2010s. And the stage theme was so good that I wanted to play more of the game. So I kind of credit Gemini Man stage with giving me that. I'm really glad I had that experience. I also really like destroying the holes in this stage. Something satisfying about it. So good music, cool graphics. This stage is really cool looking to me. It could just be the bias making up the charm, but there was always something very appealing about this. So, Dragonflies again, you know, I'm not exactly sure what the theme of Gemini is supposed to convey, but I suppose it does a good enough job at it. I guess there aren't too many more twin-related things you can do. These penguin mini-bosses could have used the telegraph, I guess. I guess it's fun, but it can be hard to dodge, especially if they just decide to shoot penguins over and over again. Pretty solid level design. I really don't have anything to complain about. It's the latter half of the game where things become more questionable, but these first 8 stages overall are very solid. You can use Rush Jet in water, which is something that they removed, and rightfully so for future games. But in this game, you can just do this, and it's pretty useful. I need to fill up Shadow Blade. I have a guilty pleasure for this segment. It's one of the toughest parts, probably of this entire game, actually, but there's just something so undeniably satisfying about pulling this off correctly. And I almost missed. Something about the rhythm here. Perfect. I love it. That E-Tank, though, just kind of out in the open. Never understood why it was just kind of laying there. And then that screen is kind of filler, but this is a great stage. Lovely. Can't get enough of it. And it's not too short, like some of Mega Man 3 stages are just ridiculously short. Gemini Man himself, kind of questionable pattern, but I'll do a rundown of it real quick. First phase, when he's above 14th health, he has 2 of himself, and they run around like this. Anytime you fire, he fires. You can lock him into a pattern like I'm doing here, unless you screw it up. He's you're not paying enough attention, but he'll do this forever. It's kind of boring, but serviceable. Next phase, he runs around the room and fires Gemini laser. And he jumps when you shoot. There's nothing really wrong with this. His laser lags the game. It's satisfactory. They could have done better, but something about the rhythm of the first part is satisfying again, and it's fun to learn. That's for sure. It's fun as hell to learn and master the patterns in this game. Except for a select few, which have specific problems I'll go over later. I've decided to segment these reviews into more parts, so I'll be cutting it off here. We'll see if doing 2 stages at a time is better for people to digest, because I feel like having a full 20-minute video might be too much for some people, so I'll cut it off here and resume next time. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed or got something out of this little analysis, I guess. Not sure what I'm going to call this yet. I use a different verb every time for these reviews, but hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.